let's take a look at our top selections. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. It's opening day of the Santa Anita Autumn Meeting, and Friday's sixth race is the Grade 3 Chillingworth Stakes. Let's take a peek at this field. Fillies and mares getting set to go 6.5 furlongs. We scratched the 6 unique factor. This race used to be known as the L.A. Woman Stakes and usually would be a fringe prep race for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. This year, I'm not so sure, Mike. The 2 Quahiras, your 2-1 morning line favorite, and this is going to be her stakes debut for Bob Baffert.
I mean, maybe somebody will just jump up and run a huge race here, Dan, but it's hard to see any of these horses being pointing to the Breeders' Cup, at least at this point.
Quahira does have a bit of an advantage according to our Timeform US pace projector. As a filly with tactical speed that can get to the front, she is expected to make the lead in a blue bar situation, which would favor horses on or near the early lead. Quahira looked good last time out, Mike. She has a stablemate in here named the number 1 Message, who is cutting back in distance off of this dead heat victory in the Tranquility Lake Stakes at Del Mar. She was pretty game in this race, Mike, down towards the inside to salvage the dead heat. Is she really a sprinter?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I actually don't mind her cutting back for this race. You see here, this is going a 2-turn mile. She never really looked like she was going to win this race, Dan, but to her credit, she did battle back dead heat there with Proud Emma. Proud Emma, a horse that her stablemate Quahira had just defeated pretty handily in her last start. I don't mind this horse cutting back. She's just a pretty tough read, I think, because she has that one big race way back in the June of last year. And other than that, she just doesn't look that competitive in this field.
As for the 2 Quahira, she has won 3 consecutive races, including this performance, her first start off almost a 1-year layoff. Yes, Baffert had her ready to go, but she was able to get off in a very easy pace. There wasn't a lot of speed going on, and she finishes the race off. You did mention the runner-up, Proud Emma, came back to dead heat with Message in that Tranquility Lake. Maybe not the strongest field in the world, not the strongest pace scenario, but good to see her come back off the layoff, and she does have a pace edge.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I thought she got an easy trip in that race last time, but she won it pretty impressively. I mean, she picked up the pace when she had to, and she won very easily at the end. I like the way that she finished in there. I also liked her final start last year, Dan, last August at Del Mar, where she didn't get a great trip that day. Bumped at the start. She wound up last, but she won that race pretty easily, too. So it feels like she's, got a good bit of potential. She's already run a couple of nice races. She has Saez coming out to ride, too, and you just know that he's going to put her on the lead in this race with her pace advantage, and that feels like it could really work to her favor.
Number 3 is Into Chocolate. This is a filly that was Grade 3 placed going 2 turns at Del Mar last year and stakes placed at Tampa Bay down sprinting earlier this season. She didn't fire last time out in the Rancho Bernardo. It was a race that didn't have much pace, but she just didn't run at all.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that race. Dan, I liked her in that race actually and better at 9-1, and she was just terrible in there. So it just makes it, to me, it makes it hard to go back to her. I did think that her prior form was actually pretty good. And I do think that she could take a step forward in this race. Obviously, she's going to have to do that now. I don't want to give up on her just yet. I didn't put her on top this time, but I'll still use her because I think she's going to be a price.
The 4 Mucho Amor was 37-1 in the Rancho Bernardo and maybe didn't have the greatest trip in the world. It was kind of an even performance. If you want to give her an excuse for that race, and if you want to then excuse her turf and synthetic and route efforts, you have a couple of nice sprints up at Emerald Downs back in 2019. I do think she is a dirt sprinter at heart. I'm not sure how much the trouble cost her last time.
Yeah, I didn't really think it cost her that much. At the end of the day, I didn't really want the horses out of the Rancho Bernardo that were coming back in here. Obviously, the horse that won that race sneaking out is very good. I just didn't really think anybody else did much running in there.
Hang a Star, the number 5, might appreciate turning back in distance. What she might not appreciate, Mike, is a race without much pace. It just seems in these sprint races, she needs some other horses to do some hitting to set her up. She was good enough to be second to Bellafina in the Desert Stormer, finishing ahead of the very sharp Fighting Mad in her first start off a little bit of a layoff at Santa Anita sprinting, but that was a race in which she got a hot pace scenario.
They did go fast in that race. She ran fine that day. If she can come back with a performance like that against this field, I guess that makes her pretty tough. I don't mind her cutting back at all, Dan. We'll see what kind of trip she gets. If she gets a good one, I'm not going to be surprised if she can beat this field.
Unique factor, the number 6 will be withdrawn. We'll move to the 7, Amuse, who is second in the Rancho Bernardo. We talked about that race and that we didn't love it. I guess the good thing about Amuse, and she ran a good second that day, was that she was 4 wide on the back stretch contesting the pace. The pace wasn't very fast. And one of the horses she was contesting the pace with, the horse that's getting away from her right now on the lead, sneaking out, is very, very good. But there's just no running coming from the back of the pack in here. And I was kind of surprised that Amuse, who looks all in right now, is able to hold on for second. I just didn't think there was a lot of running going on behind her.
Yeah, it didn't look like she was going to hold second, and she just barely did it. Obviously, she was no match for sneaking out. I mean, I don't want to be too hard on her for that because sneaking out's pretty good, and that's the horse that's beaten her in her last 2 sprint starts. I mean, listen, she's 5-2 on the line. She looks pretty good on paper. I'm just not much of a fan, Dan.
Yeah, she's kept good company. She has competitive speed figures. I think if Drayden Van Dyke wants to be aggressive with her, she can stay relatively close to the pace. She's faced good horses in her career, but like you know, I'm not a big fan. She's a 5-year-old with only 9 starts. It's been a difficult situation for Mandela to get her to the races and seemingly healthy, but she's been able to string together a decent enough campaign. Let's take a look at our picks for the Grade 3 Chillingworth Stakes. We believe pace makes the race in this one. Quahira has some promise and potential, and it just looks like she's caught the right field for her graded stakes and stakes debut.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's how I looked at it. I mean, I can't say that I love this horse. It just feels like maybe she's found the right spot. And I do think that Saez, he's just so aggressive, Dan. I think he'll put her on the lead, and that could be her advantage. Listen, I'm not done with Into Chocolate yet. I should probably give her one more chance. I know she's better than that last race, but I just don't know what happened there.
But she's going to be a good price in here. And if you can get her second, you'll at least spice up the exotics. I chalk out, I throw in Amuse, the 7 in for second for me. 2-7-5-1 for me, 2-3-5-7 for Mike. And the Grade 3 Chillingworth, opening day Friday at Santa Anita, race number 6, an approximate post time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Best of luck.